Okay. Thank you so much for doing this, Dr. Regina. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you? Thank you for having me. I'm very excited.
I'm good, thank you. So today we have with us Dr. Regina. She was born in Russia. She grew up in Germany and she graduated dental school from Bulgaria in 2021. She moved to the US and she worked in New York, Alaska, and Texas. And she got accepted on her first try to BU and UT San Antonio, Texas. And currently she is in class of 2027 at UT San Antonio. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So my first question to you is what are the eligibility criteria for foreign trained dentists who have studied in other countries to apply to DDS program in the US?
So I think it's very important for the applicants to have worked in the United States, and you definitely have to gather a couple experiences. Like you don't have to be full time employed for that whatsoever, but you do have to list a couple of things that you did here. So my classmates and me included, we have worked as dental assistants. We did some volunteering, and some of my classmates even did like the masters in dental public health. That's awesome. But it's also great if you can work a little bit as a dental hygienist. That's definitely a plus if you have done that. And then also, they don't really care about your GPA or how well your grades were in your home country. They really want to see what you have done here in the United States. That's the most important thing. So I would definitely recommend to do volunteering or dental assisting if you can, and just have a really good statement of purpose so that they notice you immediately. But then also you should have really good hand skills because they have a bench exam which is quite demanding. So you should work on your hand skills and practice a lot before you attend their bench exam.
Do you think there is any minimum GPA requirement by the schools, especially the ones which you got in? So, what is your opinion about that?
So I definitely think it's important to have a higher GPA. They do accept students starting with a GPA of 2.5, but the better your GPA, the higher your chances, obviously.
And what is the minimum TOEFL score requirements the schools are looking for?
So their minimum is 95, I believe, but the better your score is, the higher your chances. I did TOEFL twice. I just decided to retake it because I wanted to get a higher score. I think my first one was like 107, and then my second one was 114. So I think that helped too. So if you just score low, do it again.
How important do you think the US clinical experience is for dental schools?
Super important. You definitely got to see how dentistry is done here. You got to see how, the flow is in a dental office. You got to see how practitioners communicate with the patients. It's usually a little bit different than in our home countries. So it's definitely beneficial to see how dentists work here. So not only dental assisting, but I think dental hygienists have a huge benefit because they mostly work by themselves under the law. Even they get their license and everything. So um, it's amazing if you can do that.
So tell us about the how was the interview process like when you're applying to dental schools?
So the interview process was pretty smooth. Usually, you just apply and then you kind of have to wait for a response, which can take from like weeks to months. It really depends. So I applied really early on in March when the application cycle opened, and then I literally had to wait like till May and June. Then that's when they usually start getting back to you. It really depends on the schools. And then it also really depends on the schools what kind of interviews they do because you either can have just like a Zoom interview, which is purely online, like you don't have to show up anywhere. It's online. You can do it from home or work wherever you are. And then the other option is where you actually have to visit the school and be there in person. And then you have a in-person interview, but also you have to do a bench exam usually. So those two options.
What is the application process like? And can you share about your own personal journey in the application process? I know it's like so confusing. There are multiple steps. So how did you navigate it?
Yeah, well, so I'm kind of an early bird with many things. I usually try to get things done as soon as possible just so that I'm prepared. And that's like always my biggest advice to people, to apply as soon as possible. So, for that to happen, you got to be prepared for that, right? So, that's what I did. I prepared everything months ahead. I worked on my statement of purpose like multiple times. I did rewrite it a couple of times and it got better and better with time. um, so I did that, but also, I did have a couple experiences here in the US, and I contacted all my references, so that they can send their evaluation letters or recommendation letters. So I did contact them just so that they are ready to send off their documents once the application cycle opens. And yeah, I just got everything ready before the application cycle opened, and then I was good to go once it did. I sent off my applications really, really early on, and I think that helped me to get noticed by many schools.
How can applicants strengthen their statement of purpose?
This statement of purpose can be really tricky. I know it's hard. I'm not a big writer myself. I had to work on it multiple times, and it got better every time, as I just said. But definitely make it a little different than what you see online on, like, when you Google a statement of purpose, people see like templates that they could use. Don't use any of those, because those faculty members that read all the statement of purposes, they have read like 1,000 letters, so they have read all of that like 100 times. So make it special, make it a little bit different. And my advice is just to make it also emotional. Really tell them how you feel about dentistry, and like, what did it make in your life, like what did it do in your life, how did it change your life, or maybe something special. Like, if you're a funny person, like, put a couple jokes in it, make it a little funny, make it a little bit interesting, maybe. Don't go too generic, because that's just boring and they will not notice you that way.
What are the visa options for someone who wants to pursue this advanced standing process? Do you think having a green card is much better? It kind of simplifies the whole process.
I think it does help you, get the experiences initially, but it's not necessarily like, I have a lot of classmates also that just got the student visa, which is like definitely a good option. My school, and I know many other schools, they offer student visas, and it's a seamless process. It's super easy. They kind of initiate everything for you. You don't really have to do that much, but basically you basically have to show up for classes. But they help you with that, and I know that if you don't have the option of a green card, you could definitely, just use the tourist visa to come in and out of country, just to volunteer, not to work. Like, you don't want to get into trouble, right? Working illegally is not a good idea. But, volunteering, shadowing is always an option. Showing up to congresses, going to classes, doing like preceptorships, all of that is allowed. You can do all of this, and that will look great on your application.
So, letters of recommendation, I know it's one of the most crucial aspects of your application. So, who should be writing your letters of recommendation?
Three letters of recommendation. The first one has to be from the dean of your dental school of your in your foreign country. The second one should be from a faculty member at your dental school, so someone who you worked with, someone who saw how you were treating patients, and who can just tell more about your personality. And then the third one should be from a dentist here in the United States, so someone who you either shadowed or who you worked for as an assistant. you know so those are like the three letters that you need.
So what is a bench exam? Could you tell us more about it? Was it before in your application process or was it after? And how did you prepare for it?
Bench exam is a very stressful part of the interview, which sometimes you do it. So it really depends on the school again, because some schools do it on the first day. You usually have like 2 days of interviews. First day is then the bench exam, and then the second day would be the personal interview. And In this case, if schools have the bench exam first, they really care about your hand skills. They want you to perform well. They want you to know how to prep cavities right, and how to, do a great crown prep, for example. If you don't pass that first part, usually your personal interview is not so important to them. Then there's another type of schools where they first have interviews, like a personal interview where they get to know you. And then the second day is the bench exam. And here, in this case, they usually care more about your personality and how you, how you would fit into the school rather than what your hand skills are. So but here they really want you to make like the perfect cavity preparation, the perfect crown prep. Like all the measurements have to be right. And I got my own compressor, I got my own replacement teeth and model, so I practice at home a lot, like a lot. I think I practiced like on 100 teeth or something. Like I always wrote it down on how many I'm practicing, and like I really try to get better every single time. And yeah, once you get there, like the bench exam is usually pretty much straightforward. You usually have either half a day or like all day, like till 5 p.m. You sit there and prep teeth. It depends on the school. They usually want like 2 or 3, maybe 5 preparations and restorations. So you got to practice that. They usually call you in advance or email you that you're invited. So then you kind of have an idea of how long you have to prep for that. And yeah, you should definitely practice on those teeth that they tell you, hey, we want you to prep like a crown on number 30, or we want you to prep class 2 on number 14 or something, right? So definitely prep that like 10 times if you have to on that same tooth, just to be ready for the bench exam, because it's really demanding and stressful. And
So, talking about the bench exam, did you go for any type of training courses, CE courses before you went for the actual exam?
no, I did not. I learned everything myself because I wanted to save money, basically. So Google was my best friend. I looked at like a lot of YouTube videos and taught everything. Like I just learned everything at home and practiced a lot. I did so many preparations. So I think it's really possible. Like if you really want it, and if you really put the time and effort into it, you can do it yourself. Like you do have to have an eye for it, but I think if you're already a dentist and if you have been to dental school, you kind of know that you got to be very strict with yourself, and you really got to look at it from every single angle and improve. Like you got to make mistakes, and then you got to learn from those mistakes so that you can make it better the next time, right? So that's what I did. I just learned everything at home.
All right. So, could you tell us about the supplemental application component? I know a lot of schools have the main application and then they have a separate supplemental application. So, what is all that about?
So yeah, some schools do have supplemental applications, which it differs. It's different in every school, but some schools want like an essay, or like just some kind of form that you have to fill out. It's pretty similar usually. Like if they want some extra information, it's usually similar to what they're asking in CAPIT. If it's like an extra essay, it's probably similar to your statement of purpose.
Oh, I know there are a lot of schools on CAPIT. So, what is the application process like? How many schools did you actually apply to? You got in your first cycle. So, could you share like what is the number of schools that one candidate should apply to?
So it really depends on how much you want to spend, because it's expensive, right? It depends on how much you want to spend, and it depends on what, where do you want to be? Like it's not only like the school is choosing you, but you're also choosing your school. So where do you want to be? What state do you want to be? How much do you want to spend for a school? So you should look all of that up before you even applying, and then really just apply to the schools where you legitimately have a chance, right? Like there's no point in applying somewhere where they require you to have a super high GPA and you don't have it. So like, where's the point in applying there and wasting all that money? So I would just say, there's a lot of schools. Make a list of about 10 schools that are your favorite, and then reduce it to maybe 8, 9. I myself applied for 7 schools, And I think that was good. I did apply to some schools where afterwards I was like, you know what, I would probably not even, if they would accept me, I don't know if I even would go there, you know? So you gotta think if you really want to be in this state.
So tell me about the interview process. I know you have your page on YouTube, so could you share more about that?
Yes, sure. So I did mention in my statement of purpose that I do have a YouTube channel where I help other foreign trained dentists to get their license here in the US. I do think you should do something to help your community, right? Like it's not only volunteering that you can do, but you can also help the community, which, you know, foreign trained dentists is my community somehow too, right? We are all like together on this boat. So I'm like, I like to help others out because I was struggling with it a lot when I started. I didn't know where to start even. So I had to do a lot of research myself. And I thought, you know what, like just share it with other people because there's going to be like thousands probably that go through the same thing. And they're like, it's hard. It's hard.
So thank you so much, Dr. Regina, for all the wonderful insight that you shared with us. I'm sure definitely the people who are watching it will benefit and will improve their chances of getting into dental school in the US. So thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.